morning and welcome to The Big Story, where we dig beneath the noise to uncover the forces shaping our national security landscape. Today, we confront a grim reality. Kidnapping has evolved into a structured, profit-driven industry in Nigeria. What used to be sporadic criminality has matured into a sophisticated enterprise where human lives are traded for money. Negotiations are predictable, and ransom payments have become a parallel economy. With the president cancelling his planned foreign trip and issuing fresh marching orders to the military, the urgency of the moment cannot be overstated. But beyond the headlines, we must ask, how did ransom become a booming business in Nigeria, and what will it take to break this cycle? I am Samson Balogun, and this is The Big Story. The past week has revealed with stark clarity how deeply insecurity has sunk its roots into our national fabric. Across multiple states, violence surged almost daily. November 14, Plateau State, bandits invaded communities in Mangu, LGA, leading to deaths and mass displacements. On November 15, this same year, Kaduna State, residents in Chekun axis were kidnapped in fresh night raids. Let's move straight to November 16th. In Kogi State, travelers along Okene-Lokoja route were ambushed with several abducted. 17th of November, Abuja suburbs, renewed attacks were recorded around Buhari and Kuje, heightening fears in the FCT, where the president resides. Those incidents and these ones are not isolated. They are indicators of a nationwide industry thriving on fear, profit, and systemic failure. Do not forget that even in Kwara State, there were crises. A CSC church was attacked and so many people were taken away. And the president has issued a strong marching orders to the military and security agencies, demanding immediate and coordinated action across all hotspots. His decision to shelve his scheduled foreign trip underscores the severity of the moment and his intention to personally supervise the national response. But beyond government reaction, public frustrations are rising sharply. Some Nigerians are now calling for the president's resignation. But we must ask, is that the real solution to all of this? Would a change at the top dismantle the networks, the informants, the financiers, and the economics that make the kidnapping profitable? Another pressing question is whether Nigerians are too distracted by political battles, losing sight of how unity is needed to confront a common enemy, but does not discriminate by tribe or party. And as the nation inches towards another election cycle, history nudges us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Do security crises intensify whenever elections draw near? It's a big question. Is it a coincidence, or does political tension create opportunities for criminal networks? That's another question. So today, on The Big Story, we dig deeper into how ransom became a booming industry and what Nigeria must do to end it. I have with me a seasoned public affairs analyst and a security expert with years of experience, who has studied the security landscape in Nigeria and understands the nitty-gritty of what Nigeria has to do to get it right in their right. I have with me in the studio, Dr. Kunle Okunla. Good to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Nigeria now has a parallel economy. It's a booming business, kidnap and ransom. Even the government pays bandits now.
Yeah.
We have seen government officials openly hobnobbing with bandits. Some of them even take pictures. They make videos. They negotiate.
That's right.
They go into the bushes. We have Islamic clerics and clerics who now hobnob with bandits, and nobody has said a thing. Sheikh Gumi, for example, he said he knows where they are.
Yeah.
He said they are Nigerian warriors in the bushes. They are our warriors in the bushes. He has said that time and time again, and nobody has said a thing. A few days ago, he was invited to Lagos, where Islamic clerics were having a gathering. And this is a man that was being fingered to be one of the sponsors and financiers of terrorism and banditry in Nigeria. In fact, last year, It was banned from coming to Saudi Arabia.
That's right.
By the Saudi government.
Yeah.
And if the Saudi government can ban an individual,
Islamic
it's being
clerics.
celebrated in Nigeria.
Yeah.
How did we get here, Dr. Kunle Okunla? How did kidnap and ransom become a parallel economy and a booming business in the country?
The Nigerian state is gradually becoming a joke.
How?
A joke in the sense that what seems disgusting to other people from other nations is what we celebrate here in Nigeria. And it's quite unfortunate, how we get to where we are presently. Kidnapping is a business, a multi-billion-dollar business in Nigeria as of today. In fact, it is as if, there is no law in Nigeria against kidnapping.
Is there a law against kidnapping?
There is a law against kidnapping.
And of course, is there a law against ransom payments?
Section 364 of the Nigerian Criminal Code Act defines kidnapping as an act in which any person is unlawfully imprisoned by another person and takes him out, of his place to another place. It says it's unlawful imprisonment of any person within Nigeria in such a manner so as to prevent him from applying to a court for his release or from discovering to any other person the place where he is in prison. And according to Section 273 of the Penal Code, whoever kidnaps or abducts a person shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall be liable to a fine. And the law criminalizing the payment of ransom on April 27, the Senate, that's 2013, April 27, 2013, the Senate passed the Terrorism Prevention Act, Amendment Bill 2022-2023 into law and amended, Section 14 to read those. Anyone who transfers funds, makes payments, or colludes with an abductor, kidnapper, or terrorist to receive any ransom for the release of any person who has been wrongfully confined, imprisoned, or kidnapped is guilty of a felony and is liable to conviction to a term of imprisonment of not less than 15 years. So there is a law against kidnapping
in the first place.
And there is also a law against ransom payment. But the way things is being played in Nigeria is as if we don't even have law against it. Because for anybody that kidnapped anybody, the law says at least 15 years imprisonment. And if you make any payments of ransom, the law says you're going to get 15 years. All right. You discover that those who pay ransom, if found guilty, the term of imprisonment is even more than the kidnappers. The intention was, that the government or the Senate had at that time was that, let's make it so ridiculous, yes, in such a way that, ransom payments will not be encouraged at all, knowing fully well that if the kidnappers don't get money, they are losing their business. So if anybody is picked and the kidnappers, contact the families and the family are saying we are not paying anything, then, the kidnappers will be discouraged from making further attempt. But sincerely yours, there's another in Europe that says he who feels it knows it. And it's over Kaluma. If anybody is picked in one's family and there is no attempt, because from what we've been saying in the past, the government is actually doing little or nothing to help anyone that is kidnapped. So what would the family do? The family has to come up with the money, source for fund. There were times that the whole community would be gathering money, selling houses, selling properties in order to pay the ransoms. And sometimes the ransoms are paid, even the victims are killed eventually. So those laws are just there. They are not being obeyed, even by the government. When the government, itself is paying ransom, the government is paying ransom. Most of the free abductors that we've seen in time past, some of these leaders of kidnapping squad have been asked, and they said government pay ransom to them. Government has a legal person, that goes from the government to the terrorists or the kidnappers, to negotiate.
They have a negotiator.
A negotiator.
An official negotiator.
Official negotiator. Thank you. In the person of Gumi, government has that. These 25 girls that have been abducted from Kebbi State, government secondary school girls, Gumi is involved, and before you know it, they will come up with some money, So that's what I say. Nigeria is becoming a joke. It's becoming a joke. We are fighting terrorism, we are fighting kidnapping, banditry in Nigeria. To me, it's becoming a lipstick with the revelations that are coming out, especially after Donald Trump threatened that, if Nigeria does not do anything about the genocide, going on in Nigeria, that they're coming. There's so many revelations that are coming out. The other time, this foremost human rights lawyer, what's his name now? Not Gani Fawemi, Femi Falana. Femi Falana came on here, and called out Sheriff that you are the one that brought Boko Haram to Nigeria, and he gave details. Okay, when you wanted to become governor, you went to these people and said, "Come and help me, and whatever you want, I will give you." And those people did everything, to make sure that Sheriff became the governor of Borno State at that time. And eventually, they came and said, "Fulfill your promises." He even made two of them, commissioners.
In his cabinet.
And they were asking for more. And Sheriff said, "Oh, you guys are not educated. Even the ones that made, commissioners, I have to put spokesperson." And they said, "Now you know that we don't have we are not educated. But you know that Boko Haram literally mean Western education is haram. And you came to us for help, right?" And that was how the Sheriff, according to Femi Falana, went to the military, and the military, went to the Boko Haram and killed them en masse. And when they were killed en masse, then they left the town and went to the bush to regroup. That was the genesis of Boko Haram in Nigeria. And Femi Falana was saying, "Sheriff, if you have any other thing to say, come out and challenge me. Take me to court." The following day, Sheriff came out and said, "It's not me. All the narratives of Femi Falana, they are not true." Okay? The person that actually brought Boko Haram to Nigeria is Shetima.
The sitting vice president.
Who
the president said was going to handle insecurity.
Yes.
While they were campaigning.
And he gave pictures. All this I'm saying on the
There are pictures on the internet where Shetima was actually
sitting with the bandits, discussing, eating and dining. And that is our vice president. So what are we talking about? There
was a time a particular terrorist was arrested. That was Kabiru Sokoto.
Yeah.
Eventually, he escaped, but he was found at the house of a bigwig in Nigeria.
Yeah.
A terrorist found in the house of a politician.
What happened? Some guys were apprehended at the United Arab Emirates, for funding terrorism in Nigeria. And when they were done in the trial, they mentioned names of people, even in the cabinet of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. All right? And we felt that at that time that, boom, this is the time that terrorism is going to be ended. Up to today, nothing happened. There was a man, his video resurfaced on the internet in the wake of the Donald Trump threat. He was the leader of the CIA, and he was giving details of names of people that have become governors, that have become senators, that were the financiers of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Said they submitted this list to the president. Nothing happened. That's what I'm saying. Nigeria is becoming a joke. You can't prevent what you permit. It is not possible. All right. And these days, even our president is being indicted. There is a video on the social platforms now of a woman, one Ajia Muhammad, that said, call out that president, that Tinubu come and deny this if this is not true. Tinubu called for an appointment, a government appointment. All right, she's from the northeast, and she said she's not taking the appointment. All right, Tinubu was in London, according to her. Said Tinubu called her, come and join me in London. Why will you reject my appointment? I will pay your ticket. Said, my president, don't worry, I can afford to pay ticket, but arrange for the hotel. And she went, and they were having a meeting, recorded. They were having a meeting, and she asked, when Tinubu asked, why are you rejecting my appointment? She said, I cannot take your appointment until I know what you have for my people in the northeast with all these killings. To stop the killings. And Tinubu, according to her, said, I cannot fight terrorism in Nigeria. If I do, they will kill me.
And after the allegation, the president has not come out to debunk.
Says 2 or 3 weeks ago that the video has been on the a social platform. There has not been any attempt by the government to debunk, to debunk it. It's there. And so many things happening, and it's making us to feel like fools. All right, here is a government that is allocating 12.5% of the overall budget, to fighting insecurity. All right, amount greater than any other money allocated to any other infrastructures, education, health, whatever. And we're getting to know that this is all in vain. They're just lip saying.
You saw what happened in Eruku, in Kwara State. Let's see a video, a very short video of what happened in Eruku, where a CAC church was attacked by bandits in Kwara State. That's, for me, is an issue that really needs to be addressed. The bandits are encroaching very quickly. Let's see the video and see what they were having a service. A church service was ongoing. Welcome back. That was the clip of a live streaming of the church service that was going on. They called them live. The Nigerian people in a church, they were running helter-skelter. No help was forthcoming. They didn't even know where to run. They were running into a room and then coming out again. Nowhere to run. They were boxed into the four walls of the church. No help was forthcoming. If they knew help was coming, probably they would have held on a little bit longer. But they succumbed. Some of them succumbed to the cold hands of death. Some of them were taken away. You saw a video afterwards where people were being taken to the church cemetery to be buried.
It's quite pathetic. What we are witnessing in Nigeria presently, is worse than a genocide. I don't care whether it is Christians or Muslims that are being killed. As far as people are being killed, there is no reason why people should be treated the way, see that old woman.
She didn't even know where to go.
I saw the full video.
She was confused.
The one that was shown was towards the tail end. I saw the full video, showing the congregation, all right, and how they were killed. They're putting guns in the head of women and shooting because they were making noise. And they went after and they ransacked all their bags. They took
all the phones.
The following day, reporter went to the city. It was a ghost place. Everybody fled the city in the fear of terrorists. And we have government, we have military, we have the police.
Dr.
These
Kune.
people, they operated for more than 2 hours and there was nobody. When even a military general, brigadier general, what's his name? Brigadier Mohammed Uba was captured and gruesomely killed by ISWAP. This before, when the bandits, the kidnappers, when they operate like this, they always want to hide their identities for some time, and before they reveal that we're the one. But these days, they make videos. Most of these videos that you see on the social media, they are made by the bandits themselves, by the terrorists, and they release it, even showing their faces, for you to know that there is nothing that the government will want to do. All right, there is a video I saw that is being narrated by Dr. Bashir Kofi, in Katsina State. All right, the Assistant Commissioner of Police in Katsina State, Aminu Dahi, was encircled by the terrorists. It probably sold out, allegedly.
A police
assistant commissioner of police
was gruesomely murdered in his own office.
He was murdered in his own office, given up by his own people, And after he was killed, the leader of the terrorist group took his uniform and wore his uniform, and there was celebration all over Katsina State, that they have killed this man because he was giving
They consider him an enemy.
An enemy.
And he was trying to forestall, to bring peace to the society.
A week after, the Katsina State government was having, a peace talk with the bandits like they used to do. And the bandits were giving orders to the government that we don't want any police that will be there to be in uniform. And the government said, it's okay, all right. And during the day of the meeting, the terrorists came, and the leader of that terrorist group was putting on the uniform of the slain Assistant Commissioner of Police, and the name tag was there, ACP Aminu Dahi, and they sat down there and they were having meeting, and they were even they were sharing soft drinks and refreshment. And he was putting on the uniform, and the police there, the government representative there, knows that this is the uniform of the Assistant Commissioner of Police that was killed. Do you know what it takes to rise to become the Assistant Commissioner of Police, and was gruesomely killed? A brigadier general, Mohammed Uba, was captured, and when I saw the video, I could not watch it. They put the gun on his head, and they said, you've been troubling us. And they fired him. They killed him. Brigadier general, a general. In some other nations, all the military will go after them and make sure they wipe them out. What do we see? Go after them.
If a general was murdered in cold blood, what's the face of an average Nigerian?
That is what I'm saying, that Nigeria is becoming like a joke. It used to be northeast, then northwest, then north central. Now in Kwara State. Tomorrow, God forbid, what assurance do we have that your state is safe? Or Osun State? Or Delta State? There's no assurance. All right? And it appears as if the president is helpless, the army helpless, the police helpless. So who will help the people? And number one priority of any responsible government is to safeguard the lives and properties of the people.
Dr. Okunla, before I ask you, what is the driving force behind a booming business in the kidnap and ransom industry in Nigeria? Let's listen to General Wahid Musa and what he had to say as regards insecurity in the country. We'll be back shortly.
gaps between us. Boko Haram started because we protected them. They started as a small group, and if it had been nipped in the bud, we probably wouldn't have gotten to where we are today. The Lacrawas came in, we brought them in, and we said they are our friends and their families until they started attacking us. The message here is when you grow a monster, he grows beyond you and wants to take more from you. So we must learn to say no to monsters. Any evil one that means by planning any evil against this country must never ever be supported, because it is the silence of the majority that gives them that opportunity to grow to who they become. The people must be part of the solution. I always want to remind people that the citizens, that the terrorists survive within the communities. If we allow them, they will thrive. If we disallow them, they will never survive. First and Second World War are very clear. When citizens stood up against the enemy, they didn't give them food, they didn't give them fuel, because sometimes you sit down and think, 16 years we've been fighting Boko Haram, how have they been surviving? Who has been funding them? These are questions we should ask ourselves. Where are they getting the fuel they're getting? They're getting from us. We have commercial drivers that will go and take full tank, go out, go and siphon fuel and give them. Sometimes they have pre-arranged locations. They siphon fuel in jerrycans, dig holes and drop in and phone them and tell them where they fall. These are the people that keep them going. So why are we doing this to ourselves? What is the motive? Are you going to be happy if your country fails? You want to be a refugee or an IDP somewhere else? Those are questions we must be able to ask and answer. This is why forums such as this are invaluable. They provide a platform for citizens to receive first.
All right, welcome back. Dr. Kunle Okunla, you heard what the general said.
It's even good now that the military, they are confirming what we've been saying for a long time. That
Are the people also part of the problem?
Yeah, the people are part of the problem. You know.
How do you help people who don't want to be helped?
The point is that the help has never been available to the people. You know, and so in some of those communities, I was privileged to go on a tour of some of those communities some times ago, and I realized that the reason why they're siding up with the terrorists was because they find help, even with the terrorists, than with the government. Some of those communities are, you won't believe they're part of Nigeria, abandoned, there is no infrastructure.
Ungoverned.
They are ungoverned, okay? And so when the terrorists come, when they come to them, they tell them, we will help you. The last peace talk that, they had with the terrorists were asking that, in some parts of Borno State, let there be school, let there be the health, health centers and things like that. And you ask yourself, is it for the terrorists? Maybe they are trying to help the people in that community. The terrorists live inside the forest, but they're asking for hospitals and schools in those communities. So there has never been help available for the people. That's the main thing. Look at the video we just watched of the Eruku killings. Where is the help there? Where is the help? And more often than not, it is after the terrorists or the kidnapped are finished operating. It doesn't matter how long, 2 hours, 3 hours. That's when you will see the siren of the police and the military. And people feel that, are they working together? Is there synergy? Is somebody saying we're here, wait, and when they're gone, there's a phone call that you can come around, and after that is the marching order from the president. Why don't we prevent this from happening? Why is it that it's after things have happened that we normally
Dr. Kunle, what are the driving forces? I don't want to say a driving force.
Yeah.
What are the driving forces behind this multi-billion-dollar parallel economy that we currently have in Nigeria?
The number one driving force is money. And it's not just small money. It's a lot of money. Most of those guys that you see carrying AK-47 in those churches, you know, they are not the real kidnappers though. The money that they're going to collect, they just get little amount. You know, the big amount is going to their godfathers, and their godfathers are in the military, they are in the police, they are even in the government. That's number one driving force. Number two, you know, people play politics with anything in Nigeria, even with human lives. You understand? And so there have been, you know, times when some statements was made by the former president when Jonathan was there, that would make the state ungovernable for you. And it was quite ungovernable, you know, for him.
There was a statement. Are you familiar with this particular statement?
Yeah.
That the hunter and the baboon will be soaked in blood. The
hunter and the baboon will be soaked. Yes. Yes. You know, that if you want to fix Nigeria, you know, we will deal with you also. We will deal with you also. So most of
that statement was made by a presidential candidate at the time. Eventually became a president in the country. And some are saying that whether passively or actively, he knew about the insecurity crisis in the country, he just couldn't do or fix anything.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan came up and said that the scar of Chibok girls' captivity will stay with him, you know, throughout his lifetime. And he said the attack, the kidnap, was arranged. He said it's in the public domain. It was arranged by President Muhammadu Buhari just to discredit his government. That he knew. But my question is, why didn't you talk?
Take it up.
Why didn't you take it up? You know, there are people that even the presidents are feared, that they fear in this nation, that they know that if they don't do their bits, they will be killed. You know, a lot of people have said it. Former president, you know, Babangida said it, you know, in his book. So why didn't you announce MK when you know that he won? Say, I know that he won the election, but if I did, they will kill me. Who are the day? You know, Tinubu said that if I fight insecurity, they will kill me. Who are the day? You understand? And many other presidents like that.
Are there people more powerful than the president?
There are individuals like that in this nation.
Stronger than the president?
There are individuals like that in this nation, and they are very, very few. You know, so you are a president unless you are willing to step on toes. But most of the people that we have as president, they are not willing to step on the toes of these so-called godfathers. You know, so those are the main driving force, you know, for kidnapping, and it's upsurging now, and it will keep on increasing because now we know that the present government cannot really do anything about it. All right, and these people are getting emboldened every day to the point that they are making videos of their events and throwing
even showing monies on social media.
They are showing it. They are sharing money. You know, the Army General was saying that, you know, if there was a time there was no fire in Nigeria, everybody was queen. You know, there was an attack by ISWAP then, and they went with this wagon car, about 50.
All fuel.
All fuel. Where did they get the fuel from? The food they eat. Where is it coming from? Who supplied the food? Who supplied water? You know, one of the ways that many nations have won war, it happens in the Second World War, Third World War, of winning war, is to cut off the food and water supply.
It happened during the Civil War in Nigeria.
Yes, cut off the food and water supply. People will starve. They will come out. You know, who is supplying them? Who is giving them? I saw a video recently, was it 2 days ago? All right, 3 helicopters landed in a particular place, and the man was saying,
in the middle of nowhere.
And the man that was doing this was saying, you know, you will see the Boko Haram people will start coming, and they came out and they were shaking hands with this, and they were carrying, you know, bags of drugs, water, you know, and after 3 helicopters, and they left. Where are those from? You know, the airways, they are monitored. There are agencies that are responsible for monitoring the airways. Didn't they see that? Didn't they notice that this thing is coming? The man said that's how they come regularly. You understand? You know, there are people, in my own opinion, that even the law of this nation cannot touch. And it's quite unfortunate.
Unfortunately, there's a lot to unpack on this show, but we don't have such time on this show this morning. And I think this is one topic that really needs to be revisited.
Tinubu should do something about it.
If you're advising the president right now, very quickly, 30 seconds, what would you say to him?
I would tell Tinubu, stop the damage control speeches. Stop the tantrums aimed at foreigners. Secure the people. Disarm the militias. Prosecute the criminals. If your forces can't, bring in professionals under strict oversight, but do something.
Thank you, Dr. Kunle Okunla, for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you very much.
We have to go. And as we wrap up today's big story, one fact remains unshakable. Nigeria cannot win this battle until insecurity stops being profitable. The ransom economy feeds on desperation, weak intelligence, political distraction, and institutional shortcomings. With the president staying back to coordinate security operations and the military under fresh directives, a window for change exists. But it will take more than others. It will take consistency, sincerity, and a national alignment of purpose. Regardless of politics, ethnicity, or election cycles, the safety of Nigerians must stand above every other consideration. Until then, peace remains a distant dream. Stay with us. Samson Balogun is my name. Up next is Trend Watch. We'll be back after this time out.